y'all, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining me today for part 3 of the kitchen makeover of our 1966 fixer-upper. Last week we installed these cabinets, and this week I will be building new cabinet doors. These two cabinets on the end, I hate how big these doors are. They're huge. They just don't look nice at all in my opinion, so I'm going to turn each of these doors into two French doors basically. So there'll be two here that open out and then two here that open out. Here I just have my diagram of my doors, my rails and stiles, and the measurements that I need to cut for each door. And I'm cutting them inside on my miter saw. So there was a ton of sawdust to clean up, but it was worth it to not have to go outside because this was pretty late that I was doing this.
Persian eyes, but she's from Nicaragua. Thought you was Persian love. Are we turning up? Or are we wasting time? Girl, don't waste my time. No party. I don't just wanna chill with you. Oh no.
This is what the doors are looking like so far. So like I said, these are 3.5 inches wide, and I'll rip them down to 2 inches tomorrow on the table saw. But I also just realized that I only have 2 doors. I need 4. I wrote on my cut list that I only needed 4 of each of these pieces when I actually needed 8 of each. So pulled another board. Thank you, Jace. Just pulled another board out of the garage so I can cut 4 more of each of my rails and stiles. Alright, got my second set of doors all made, and this is what they're looking like. I will tomorrow be ripping these down to be thinner widths on the table saw. And here are all my cut pieces ready to be put together. I'm just gathering all my tools. I'm using the Create pocket screw system that I absolutely love to put these doors together. Of course, not without the help of my helper.
Can we get it together?
I've been all in my phone, I got options. And I don't wanna tell you to drop it, but I don't wanna play your fair. Yeah, something that makes me look at you too often. Oh, baby, you can give it something. Baby, I can run all the time. Baby, I'm talking crazy. I need you right in my space, but I need it, baby. I'm late, but I still can check in with you. I know that I need my friends, but I wouldn't wanna leave. You know, I wouldn't wanna bleed. Even my heart, my mind, and my body. My mind, my mind, and my body. My body says, my mind, and my heart. My body says, I don't know what it is. I can't tell you what it is, but you got me going crazy. Just to do is so amazing. How long can you go, baby? At last, till my body's so crazy. Baby, I'm talking crazy. I need you right in my space, but I need it, baby. I'm late, but I still check in with you. I know that I need my friend, but I wouldn't wanna leave. You know, I wouldn't wanna bleed. Even my heart, my mind, and my body.
Alright, here are my 4 doors. I actually did some math wrong, so I didn't record it, but I had cut the rails too long, 2 inches too long, because I didn't account for the fact that I had extra rails that I was adding in the center of the doors. So I had to cut each one down 2 inches and then reassemble them. But I got my plugs in with some wood glue, letting that dry. Once that dries, I'll cut these flush, fill these were my old pocket holes, fill these with wood filler, sand everything, and then I will have to route out my groove for the plywood on the center and my decorative edge. So this was my first time using a router. I got this router, I believe, for my birthday. I'm always getting tools for holidays, which I love. There was a learning curve here. The work that I did is not perfect, but it works and I'm proud of it. I started out trying to cut down the extra wood from the plugs, but it ended up being just simpler to use a coarse grit sandpaper and sand them down, and it worked perfectly. So I'm not with nobody, cause I don't wanna hurt nobody. Did it over text, didn't call me. Still got love for you. I didn't record ripping my 1/4 inch plywood pieces down on the table saw outside, but just did that, and I also cross cut them on the miter saw. Edges are around it where the router made my groove to fit my plywood. I just did a 45-degree cut on the ends to fit them in there, because I didn't want to chisel. Originally, if you can see, I squared off my corners. I was gonna chisel those out, but then I changed my mind and just said, I'm gonna make that fit, and then wood fill, call it a day. But that is door number 1. I'm gonna glue these in. That's door number 1. So all that will be left to do once I get the plywood attached is to router my edges here, attach my inner trim, and then use my hinge jig. Yes, you can have ice cream sandwich. And then use my hinge jig to drill out the hinge holes, and then we'll be ready to mount them. All right, I'm just gonna be attaching the inserts, like I said, with wood glue. I'm not going to be nailing them or screwing them or anything like that. The glue should hold just fine. This is the glue that I use. So, take that out and just run a bead of glue around the inside.
Baby, 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 I've been on my empty mindset. I try to keep from losing the best of me. I worry that I wasted the best of me. Oh, yeah, baby, you don't care. Sometimes I be a nuisance, it's just urgent. Trying to make sense of little change, got me a war in my mind. Gotta let go of Wayne, think he was holding me. Choose the right, but it will pick up in front of me. All the while, I wave my arm, will feel and a smile. Still wanna try, still believe in good days.
And of course, if you were staining your wood, you have to be a lot more careful than what I'm doing here. I'm sanding and painting everything, so I'm not really too worried about squeeze out. But I'm gonna come in and with a rag and clean this up a little bit on the front. Then I'm gonna do the other three. So this is where we're at now. I did not record. I've been saying that a lot. I apologize, but it's just sometimes I'm in the motion of things and pulling out the camera, tripod, excuse you. Gets a little hard. It makes the process so much longer, but I really want to document it. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I spent some time outside rounding these edges, the decorative edges. And I had never done that before, so that was my first time. There are some mistakes. Some places are the cove. This is called cove. The cove is wider than it should be, but I mean, it's not perfect, but I definitely will still be proud looking at these hanging in the kitchen every day. So there are some places like this, if you can see, that's wood filler there. I have to do probably 2 or 3 more layers of it once it dries and I sand it. But for some reason, I'm not really sure why, the wood splintered right there and in a couple more places. But once I get it all wood filled and sanded out, once it's painted, you shouldn't even notice. So yeah, overall really happy with it. And I can't remember if I already showed y'all this. I started cutting my trim for the inside of the doors. I'm gonna glue this down again. I'm gonna attach it the same way I attached the backing, just with wood glue. So with these, I had them upside down and put heavy boxes of tile on them while they dried. So now they're in there good and solid. You know, I have 8 boxes of tile sitting here waiting for me to get around to doing the backsplash. So I just used those to weigh that down as the glue was drying and setting. I'm gonna use painter's tape on this trim as the glue is setting. So I'll just tape it down in place so it doesn't move. And if you're wondering why this wood is a different color from the rest, it's because I ripped this from a different sheet of 1/4-inch plywood. I can't remember what kind this is. It's something that I had in the garage, but just getting these 3 pieces allowed me to get a 2 by 4 foot piece of 1/4-inch, and I can only get 3 pieces. It was $16 for that, so versus getting a 4 by 8 foot sheet. I went that way and just used what I already had for this fourth one. Once it's painted, you'll never know that there's a difference in wood. So just being economical here because the price of wood is still crazy. And I cut all my trim pieces on the miter saw, and I'm gluing those in and attaching them, or rather holding them down with painter's tape until they dry.
Not the type to try and double back twice, but you had me running right back. Yeah, I be coming back to back, yeah. Right by your neck, yeah. Say you arch your back, yeah. Tell you to shut your what's up. Rushing here real fast just to take it slower. No, I ain't these other hoes, and boy, you let me know. Baby, all I gotta say, nobody get there way faster. Maybe not you here to stay, we'll see how it plays after. Boy, you say you're done with games and more. We gotta get deeper now, deeper and deeper now. Wonder how you give it to me so good. Guess I never had a real nigga from the hood. But you gotta understand this wasn't in my plans. You're trying to get deeper now.
I figured out the layout of my doors, what side I want everything to be on, what's top, what's bottom, etc. Now I have my concealed hinge jig from Craig. Getting ready to make my hinge holes on all my doors.
I want to feel good, but you ain't mine sometimes. But it can't go to waste. Any nigga who can take it back. Baby, all I gotta say, nobody get their way faster. Baby, not you here to stay, we'll see how it plays after. Boy, you say you're done with games and more. We gotta get deeper now, deeper and deeper now. Wonder how you give it to me so good. Guess I never had a real nigga from the hood. But you gotta understand this wasn't in my plans. You're trying to get deeper now, feel this is deeper now.
This is before and after, so I think it looks really good. I'm so super happy with how the double doors turned out. I'm really glad that I decided to go ahead and build new doors because I was really unhappy with how big this door looks. It's just ugly. That's that's all there is to it. It's just ugly to me. So just to show y'all kind of what I had to do on the inside. Of course, the door was originally on this side, so I could just attach the new door. Yeah, so I just was able to mount this door on the hardware that was already there, but this side I had to screw in new hinge holes because obviously there was no door on this side, so added that, and those screws gave me the blues. That rhymed. For some reason it was super hard to get these to go in, and I had pilot holes and everything, so I'm really not sure what that was about, but we made it. And I'm probably gonna be upgrading them all to soft close hinges. final product. I'm so happy with these doors. I'm so glad I took on this project. It really changed the look of this cabinet set for me. Really glad I did it. Thank y'all so much for joining me today for this video. Please do like and subscribe if you're interested in following this journey of us making over our 1966 fixer-upper. There are so many more projects to come, and I can't wait to share with you.
No, I really can't complain. Everything is straight. I've been on a wave where everything